How many times have we made mistakes over the last 30 something years? Like, I don't even think we can count. Like, we can't count it. Hi, welcome. My name is Taylor-Alexis, and this is a safe place to talk dangerously about all of the life lessons in your 30s, wellness, and film. So if you're new here, welcome. And if not, thanks for coming on back. I'm not going to waste any time. Today we are talking about getting out of victim mode, right? Recognizing that you're in it and what you can do to get out of it, because baby, nothing is stopping you but you. And we're going to talk with this ruler for a little bit. I'm speaking to you from experience. Most of these things I've lived through, which is why I feel like I can talk about them. I had some moments where if one bad thing would happen, because I've dealt with so many different things, I'm just like, oh no, the end of the world is here. I'm never going to get to this level and I'm never going to do this and yada yada shmada. And I'm like, oh man, we need to have like a meeting. So it was me in my mirror and I'm talking to myself like, look, we have to let go of this. Where did this come from? Nobody wants to be around the person that can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. Like, again, we all go through things. But if your mindset is just like, woe is me, why is this happening? Why can't I ever do this? I'm never going to do that. It's always this. Chances are you are living in victim mode. Another way that you can realize that you are living in this victim mode or this victim mentality is just your tone and your outlook on life. Like if it's generally negative, it's almost like, hey, do you have anything that you like in life or like anything that's positive? So someone that's stuck in that victim mentality, their outlook in life is kind of typically negative, right? It could be like maybe they're talking about something positive, but then they end it with a negative, or like doubting yourself or just taking yourself out of the fight to begin with. If you're constantly ruminating over past trauma, past events and things like that, you're going to be stuck in that like endless loop of trauma. Little things like you don't think high of yourself, you don't think that you deserve certain things. Like it's all about how you talk to yourself and how you communicate that with others as well. Whether that's showing up for yourself, whether that's like doing that whole self-loathing, self-deprecating kind of thing, like making jokes about yourself. Don't do it, or try not to. Or if you catch yourself, this is why we're gonna help you break free from that. Another sign is like your first emotion is anger. You know, back in the day where maybe if you stared at somebody, this is such a New York thing, oh my God. Maybe if you stared at somebody so long, the first thing they're like, what you looking at me for? Like that, right? And it could be like, oh, maybe I think you're gorgeous, or maybe I think that you're attractive, or maybe I like your hairstyle or something like that. So it's like, if that is your first emotion, just anger, just ready to fight, just chances are, you got to deal with some hurt that you might have internally. That also leads to like resenting other people's gains. So like, let's say, again, we are in our 30s, so people are, doing different things, taking different life paths. And, if your friend gets engaged, that person might feel like, oh my God, what about me? Or like they're happy for them, but, and that's a telltale sign of being in that victim mentality. I'm not going to just sit here and talk about what it is or beat you over the head with it, but I'm going to see if I can give you some like tips about how to overcome that, because again, like I said, most of these things that I speak on is because I've went through it. So let me be your big sister. I know I'm giving such eldest daughter vibes, but whatever. Let's talk about how we can get out of victim mode. First things first, the world owes you nothing. Nada. Okay? So let's start there. Then I think the second step is to take accountability for your choices. How many times have we made mistakes over the last 30 something years? Like, I don't even think we can count. Like, we can't count it, but we've all made them, right? So that doesn't mean that we have to stay there, or that we have to, define our entire life based off our mistakes, right? Could we have done something better at the time? Yes, but that's why, hindsight is 2020. You get older, you get wiser, hopefully, and you move past that. I think the next thing, and you can do this in whatever order, but I'm just giving you just a little action plan. So I think the next thing would be to decide on what's truly important to you. And I'm talking about like your wants and your needs. At this stage in life, what is important to you? And then let's just focus on that and nothing else, right? Again, not super, super duper extreme, but you know what I mean? Let's put the majority of our focus onto what's important to you. By doing that, hopefully you're not giving energy to things that are not like on that list. If you know that right now it's head down, let's focus, let's grind it out because, you know, you want to make a change in your life, then give your energy to that. And then everything else will be there when you get back. Like outside is going to be there, you know, dating is going to be there, all of it. So if you have a goal of like, yo, I want to do X, Y, and Z, but I know if I do A, B, and C, I'm not going to get to X, Y, and Z. So I'm just going to leave that where it's at. Once you decide what's important to you, then I think we get boggled down by the idea of setting these like big goals, right? They're just larger than life and everybody, you know, we're doing it big. And yes, you know, think big always. But as far as setting some goals, let's set some goals that are small and achievable. That way it can be like an avalanche or like a snowball effect of like, oh, we're going to keep building on this and this and this and this until we hit the bigger goal that we want to, right? I'm talking with all my hands today. Wow. So for instance, I wanted to jumpstart my grind on this wellness kick that I've been on. And I decided to do a stair climb. And I think it was, 55 flights for the American Lung Association, or helping to support those that are battling with lung disease. And honey, okay, I did 55 flights in like 16 minutes or so. Now, I will say I did stop on the 41st floor for 2 small cups of water, and I sat down and then I was like, what am I doing? But by the time I got to the end, right, which is the 55th, and everybody's cheering, there's cameras, there's balloons, people handing you water, I'm like, I want to do this again. That is just to show you that if you set these small goals, you'll get that snowball effect, right? You'll get out of that victim mentality because you have things that you're living for, right? You're not just living to be a victim, okay? I think what also helps too is making a gratitude list, right? Maybe you can write down one thing that you're grateful for, or 3 things that you're grateful for every day, just to kind of keep you focused on what you have. Because it's so easy when you're in victim mode to be like, oh my God, I don't have this, I don't have $1 million, I don't have this kind of car. Be grateful for what you have. So that way, when you do get more, you appreciate it. And it's a lot more meaningful. So it's all about retraining your brain so that you can win, right? And you have to figure out what the root cause is. And I know obviously there are so many different ways that you can go about healing. I don't even want to say healing, okay? I think one resource, if you can, is to seek out a therapist. I'd always recommend, I think it's like therapyforblackgirls.com, psychologytoday.com is great. You can go and type in your zip code and find a psychologist and see. I think it also shows you if they take your insurance or if they do like a sliding scale for payments, and then also if it's like in person or virtual. So sometimes we do go through some trauma that, you know, we can't just shop it away, or we can't just work it out, or we can't just, you know, talk to our friends about it, because our friends might not be equipped. They might be going through their own problems, because listen, 30s are real. Like, you're not old, but life is really hitting you different. So, you know, just keep in mind that there are some resources out there to help you, and it's just so worth it investing in yourself if you can. Please, 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 please. Aside from investing in yourself, you can also invest in others to help you get out of that victim mentality. So the more that you give, you'll also receive it, right? Because our minds like to play tricks on us and say, oh my God, this bad thing happened to me. Everybody hates me. And you can't do that, because it's not fair to the people that actually love you, despite the bad apples, right? You can't do that to the rest of, you know, the apples in the bucket or whatever they gather apples in. But you can't just single everybody out or just put this blanket statement like everybody's out to get you. So the more that you do for others will help you wash away that victim mentality. I don't know if you've ever seen that video, and it was like a really good demonstration of like how you heal. You pour out the, you know, yuck or whatever, the trauma, and then you just pour in like clean water. It's like, no, the water is going to rinse you, and all of the trauma will rise up to the top, and eventually you'd be this clean water gal or guy. It's interesting too, because you can also slip into the victim mentality for certain aspects of your life. There can be moments where maybe you feel like a victim only at work, or you feel like a victim at school, or you feel like a victim, I don't know, at the gym. That'd be weird. But you feel like a victim like within your friends or family. Like sometimes it can be super selective. So it's not just like this whole thing, but it definitely does affect your outlook. So I actually went to a new church last weekend, or by the time this drops, 2 weekends ago, and the pastor had said something about, the unhealed has this like warped perception of the world that everyone's out to get them. And I'm like, yes, yes, yes. You have to do the work on yourself. And everybody says to do the work, but like it doesn't look the same for everybody. It's not the same timeline. Just keep that in mind. So, in that process of doing the work, forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for, maybe allowing the hurt. Because, life is full of disappointment. Life is full of, hard times. I think we live in a society, and I feel like that's like my new catchphrase now, that everyone is just, they have these little perfect lives, and that's all we're showing online. And it's like, no, real things happen behind like the scenes, or, away from the phones and away from social media. Real things happen. So, you don't want to be too hard on yourself about whatever you've been through, or like what you allowed previously to happen. Focusing on forgiving yourself and then forgiving others, it's only gonna benefit you. I'm telling you, like, forgiveness is probably the best thing you can do for your body, your soul. Like, there's just a glow. Like, hey, you might have hurt me and I've dealt with the pain, but I forgive you. And now I'm moving on, right? For anything, right? It could be, it could be the person that skipped you in the line at the grocery store. I forgive you. That doesn't mean we're going to turn up or whatever, or we're going to allow that going forward. But, you just got to get out of that victim mode. Yeah, I hope this was helpful. I know trauma bonding is like such a popular thing, and you don't realize how easy it is to just sit and talk with somebody about every single thing that you're going through. And it's like, you could be putting that energy to other things. For my peoples 30 plus and up, hell, even the 20-year-olds, let's not spend another 20, 30 summers, looking at the world through the lens of a victim. Let's take back our power. Let's be victorious. I don't want it to sound super cheesy, but let's take ownership, because guess what? You have the power to change your life. And I know it might not look like an easy route or an easy path, but it is doable. Let me tell you, it is doable, okay? Once you decide that you want to do things differently and you start putting the work in, and things will open up. The universe will bless you. God will bless you. So, all right, I won't get too preachy on that. And thank you for listening and making it this far. Remember, you are not your mistakes, and people love you. So, all right, I will see you next time on A Safe Place to Talk Dangerously. Bye.